when Drake and Future dropped that song "Life Is Good," me and my brother Jawan, we went to. They had a pop-up shop, like a pop-up meet and greet on Fulton Industrial. Went over there, and I had a frame that I shot a Future. So it was a 16 by 24, and taking pictures. He's meeting everybody outside. Somebody was like, "Hey, Future, let me chop it up with you about some business." I said, "Nah, I got time to chop it up. Keep it moving." Jawan, loud as freak. "Hey, Future, my brother got a picture I want to show you." It get dead quiet. Everybody turns around like looking at me. You know, like SpongeBob, they just turn around and look at you.
Yup.
It was just like that. It was dead quiet. And I'm taking a picture. He's like, "Oh, that's hard." He's holding a picture up behind me. And then he's like, "Give it to him." So I'm walking. I'm shaking. I'm like, am I really prepared for this? You know what I'm saying? Like, is this really happening in my mind? My name is Newlife Rafa. Pleasure to be here, man.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. I met him when I went to a comedy show the other night. We were out at Atlanta Underground, and we went to go see Kenan Thompson. Didn't end up seeing Kenan Thompson.
He was definitely on stage for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, he was posted up in the back. I was telling him this dude looked like Notorious B.I.G. because he had the Biggie shades on and a full 90s jumpsuit.
Top and bottom.
Came in, had a few words, got a plaque from the mayor. He got his own day. I'm like, damn, this guy got his own day. And
A lot happened in that.
there was,
For real.
you should have seen it, bro. We had a plumber next to us. This guy was a plumber. I thought he was one of the fucking comedians that were going to get on stage because he had me like rolling, bro.
Yeah.
Just funny as hell. This guy just was like waiting for his drink. The waiter never came with his drink, so he's like, "Fuck this shit," and he walked out on his tab.
He literally just walked out.
He walked out, and then the waiter comes back, is like, "I have his card and his name on file." Like, I don't know why he'd do that.
He wasn't thinking ahead.
Yeah. But other than that, it was cool. I met you. You were doing photography for the event, which was super cool. And then we connected, and I saw that, you have gone on a journey, and I thought you'd be somebody worth bringing on here. And then you brought these books with you right here, and you started showing me some of your work, which I'll show you on the screen in a second. And I thought that shit was phenomenal.
Appreciate that, man, for sure.
So yeah, you've been on quite the journey, and I saw in your Instagram bio, this is what really caught my eyes, that you said you kind of cured yourself from lupus.
Yep, cure myself from lupus.
Okay, so what is lupus first off?
So lupus is an autoimmune disease where your disease attacks the immune system in your kidneys and your organs. So it's basically making your body fight against itself.
Uh-huh.
In my case, it was doing against my kidneys. So your kidneys are filters. My kidneys weren't filtering. So I came home one day, my whole body was swollen. I thought it was like an allergic reaction.
Your whole body was swollen, like your legs and your arms and
Legs
shit?
is puffy, arms is puffy, my face started getting puffier.
What the fuck?
I'm like, this is definitely weird. Like, I've eaten the same thing that I always eat, the same routine, but
Uh-huh. Which was what? What did your daily routine and what did your diet look like?
at that point, it was around mid 2018.
Mm-hmm.
I just got home from college, failed out, didn't even finish.
There you go. I mean, fuck it, dude. College isn't for everybody. Like, you fix that mic and like turn it up. Like, this is the front of the mic.
This one?
So just turn it like sideways, like that.
Oh, pick up better?
Yeah. We're good.
So yeah, came back from college. My dad was like, "You got 6 months to basically get on your feet as a man and do what you got to do, and you're at the house." So I'm like, "Shit, I gotta figure something out." Got a job at the Kia plant that was close to my hometown in Columbus, Georgia. And during that time, I was like, "Okay, I gotta figure something out." So I was really stressing, and people don't really understand that when you stress, it's adding all that anger, frustration to your kidneys and your organs, which is essentially breaking it down. Think about it.
You talking about like cortisol? Like the hormone cortisol? Like,
Well, just like, so when you're happy, it's like, okay, my heart is happy, I'm gonna go get some food. If I'm sad, I'm gonna get some ice cream. It's like every emotion is stemmed to how we want to proceed from that. So in my case, I was being stressed, so that stress was going to my organs. At the time, I didn't know. So, like, just think about it. When you're upset, what's the first thing you want to do? You either want to smoke, drink, cry, whatever.
yeah, you want to relieve that.
You want to relieve that.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes we don't relieve that. We just keep that tucked in ourselves, which eventually can turn into diseases, cancer, heart attacks, strokes, things like that, because is stress. We're not supposed to be stressed. We're not supposed to be fearful. So it's a lot of factors that I started to really understand why I had it.
And how'd you get there to like be so stressed? And because I mean, like, this is a huge problem with our fucking generation. Is like, why are we so young and like why are we so fucking stressed? Like,
So I
for
feel
your
like,
situation, like, what was it?
yeah. So for my situation, man, I grew up. I'm the youngest of three children. My dad was in the military for 20 years. My mom was a pastor. So you can already imagine how my life was. You know what I'm saying? I used to have to wake up, instantly fix my bed, and do all that type of military crap. So I always seen how it was supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? I always knew like I'm gonna be wealthy, I'm gonna be traveling, gonna be doing this and this, but I'm not gonna be doing it y'all's way. So once I understood that, it allowed me to step out of being fearful, of really being myself, because I just thought I had to go down path A instead of really understanding and realizing this B, C, D, and E paths that I can still accumulate for and try those out to see how it goes. But I had it because of I was fearful of being myself, and that fear was pushing me to a point to where I wasn't really speaking how I wanted to. I wasn't walking how I wanted to. I wasn't dressing. I was just really just in a shell. I used to walk around my shoulders in, my head down, no confidence. Wouldn't talk to a female for real unless she spoke to me. I wasn't doing nothing confident wise.
Yeah.
So once I realized, okay, fear, stress, diet, mentality can all take a huge toll on your body. You know what I'm saying? Young or old, it doesn't matter. So once I understood that, I said, okay, I need to find out ways to, for one, be myself so I don't have to go through this sickness again. Because I was at the house for 6 months and my whole body was swollen. Like I told you, my feet were swollen, my legs, like I could literally look down on my legs and it would be fluid coming out like a sponge. That shit was crazy.
Yo.
I would literally cry like 21 years old, like what's going on? Like what am I missing in my life?
Yeah.
And that's when I started doing photography. So I realized like, okay,
Wait, so hold on. Before we get to the photography thing, you can't just go from I had fluid come out on my legs and now you're here and you're fine and you're in great shape. Like, what the fuck? Like,
so
how did you, like,
it took a lot of like,
what do you mean you cured yourself is what you said. You know what I mean?
so I started a spiritual journey around 2023, around 2021, 2022, during that COVID era. I was staying with my roommate. At that time, I wasn't really working. So I had to really understand, like, okay, if I'm not going to work, I need to find ways to provide for myself because I'm still a man at the end of the day. And I had to separate myself from the area I was in, the energy I was in, because it wasn't bad energy, but it just wasn't fueling me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so once I understood that, I took myself out, and life started lifing. You know what I'm saying? I went through a journey of being homeless. I went through a journey of trying to figure out how to provide for myself consistently, constantly. But during that time, I was like, okay, if I'm taking 12 pills a day, big pills too, like 400 milligram pills, 2 in the morning, 2 at night, taking steroid pills, I'm taking all type of stuff that they gave me. I'm like, okay, medication and food is what the world, well, I'll say food and medication is what the U.S. runs off of. So once I understood that, I'm like, okay, if I'm taking 12 pills, it's got to be like 12 herbs or something else that I can utilize instead of those pills because I'm not finna keep suppressing my body.
Yeah. What kind of pills were you taking? You said steroids and then what else? Like,
So I was taking the pill, it's called microphenolate. That's the biggest one I had. It was 200 or 400 milligrams. I was taking 4 of those a day, 2 in the morning, 2 at night. Taking a water pill called lisinopril. I ain't gonna lie, I was definitely hooked on them hoes for a while because I noticed that. So basically, like anything like gout, swelling in the ankles and legs, it's just water retention. So once I realized that, I'm like, okay, I'm taking a water pill and I'm starting to see the swelling go down. I was supposed to take like one a day. I ain't gonna lie, Brent, I'm taking like 3 a day. Like I'm making my own schedule because I'm like, I gotta start seeing different ways I can get out of this. Like,
Yeah.
it got to that point. So even as I talk to you about this, I'm realizing that I kind of really manifested this through that process.
Mm-hmm.
So once I found out that it was different herbs, like you got turmeric, it's good for inflammation. Um, I've been taking that for like a year and a half every day in my water. Cayenne pepper is good for the heart, good for the purifying the blood. Excuse me. You got burdock root. You got a whole bunch of it's a whole bunch of different herbs that we use for cooking, but they're really for the body
Oh shit.
because it's natural. I did a lot of eternal work in myself. Basically, I was talking to a spiritual woman. She's a spiritual leader who helped people heal themselves.
Like a tarot card reading lady or like a shaman or
More like a person with spiritual insight, I'll say. Like I've never seen her. I've talked to her through like WhatsApp and things like that.
okay.
That my big bro Jawan and Tack they put me on. So
How did he know her?
well Tack, his name is Tack. He knew her from prior engagements of doing the same thing. So it was myself, Tack, and Jawan, my brother. We would wake up at 5:45 a.m., go running, go jogging, go work out, and we would discuss ways how we can heal ourselves, the community, and the world at large. So we were basically discussing ways of going inside yourself, going to your inner child, talking to yourself eternally through meditation, and basically going to the root of the problem. So for me, my root of the problem was fear. I was fearful of talking, fearful of anything that wasn't really who I was. I was fearful of showing that because I didn't know how to. So I'm literally in my room, door closed. I got meditation music playing. I'm sitting there just in the meditation pose. I'm like, okay, I've never actually done this. So I'm really scared as freak because I'm like, damn, like, how am I about to go back to my old self? And
You were scared to meditate? To really kind of like
yeah, I was really
get into
scared,
that
yeah.
problem. You were like, I don't know what the fuck's about to boil up right
exactly, because I've never done it, and it's like,
now.
I'm like, because you gotta think, man, I grew up in a Christian household, so for me to step out of that, be in the world, and start experiencing things of the world, like I've never thought about doing meditation ever in my life. So the fact that I was doing that, it's a whole bunch of different emotions and thoughts going on at the same time. But I did it, and at that moment, I'm like, dang, like this is a powerful solution to healing, because they don't teach you this at the house. They don't teach you this in school. But once I did it, I'm okay. I can do this and grow with it even more. So that's what I've been doing since then. Um, it's been so different, man. Like this is actually the first time I really explained this to somebody.
Really?
Yeah, outside of like my group.
I feel like, we kind of are on like the same wavelength with like,
Mhm.
we talked before we sat down and started recording about manifestation and how
Yeah.
it can like, that same key, like manifestation you were talking about, like it can take you and like essentially put you in the situation that you
Mhm.
were because you were scared of everything. Like fear creates, stress hormones within
Right.
your body. And then that creates a whole bunch of, your pH is up and you're just,
Mhm.
tumors and cancer and disease and all this fucking crazy types of shit will
Yeah.
happen to you. But on that same key, you can kind of flip it around. That's the hardest. I feel like the hardest part of like the human experience is like mastering your mind.
Yeah.
Like how much could we really do? Like if we could just get over these like fucking self-created hurdles.
Mhm.
But also those kind of propel us forward too.
Yeah, you're right. It's definitely like a yin yang 50-50 type of thing, because in a way, being fearful at a younger age before I got to this point definitely has made me. But I ain't gonna say it made me. It helped me become who I am now, because I had to understand that barrier and say, okay, I can continue this barrier, or I can break it right now and really be who I am supposed to be, who I want to be. But to piggyback off what you're saying, that's the leap of faith. That's the step that everybody doesn't really take, because the mentality like, oh man, if I choose to let my ego die, if I choose to be more kind, be more loving, lead with love, how are people gonna view me? It's like, nah, fuck that. How do you view yourself? Once I understood that, it really, each day I was eliminating fear, like a little bit each day. Like, let me just try speaking without, somebody comes to me. Let me go initiate speaking. Let me.
Was that your biggest fear? Like, like with, I feel like our generation once again has a lot of fear with like just going out and kind of putting themselves out there, especially with people of like the opposite sex.
Yeah.
Like talking to girls, bro. Even I had that problem growing up. Like, I would just be scared as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, and fear would almost take over and paralyze you,
really?
bro. Like,
you get to that point, it's like,
fuck this.
yeah, I'm not even gonna go over there.
Yeah, but you also get mad at yourself, and it becomes a very vicious cycle, like a feedback loop. Like, you're like, fuck, I ain't even gonna do that. You rationalize yourself why you don't want to do it. You're like, man, it's probably this, that. And then you get home.
Scenarios in your head.
You get home, bro, and you're all alone, and you're like,
damn.
and then you start beating yourself up, and it's just a very vicious cycle, and that can, like, there's a bigger picture there that can create a lot of things, like the diseases and all that stuff we were talking about.
Yeah, because especially, like, I haven't always been the go-to guy, per se. Like, oh, man, like, when he graduates high school, we going to know what he's going to be doing. It's like, nah, but everybody was always cordial with me, cool with me, you know what I'm saying? If anybody had problems with me, it was on them, because I don't do problems. Like, that's just not me. I've always treated people with respect, so the way people view me back then to now is totally different. And I say that from my perspective because I've seen myself change. So now when I go to people, oh, what's up, man? You doing? Like, man, like, you weren't even doing that back then. Like, I was in the back just chilling because I didn't want to go speak to somebody or say, damn, she's fine. I can see myself with her. I like her energy. I'm not finna go say nothing because I don't know what to say. I don't want to embarrass myself. I don't want to seem like a sack. But it's like, shoot, man. Like, now I'm doing it now just to see what happens. You know what I'm saying? Test my confidence. Test my words. Like, try that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Your whole mindset about everything is kind of shifted, and people are honestly like probably dapping you up now because they see what you're doing and they see, who you're taking pictures with and who you be around, and like, you know what I mean? Like the image of yourself that you've created, basically people are kind of buying into that. But you're like, fuck you, because I was at my worst and you guys just kind of like ignore. I mean, like, you can't get mad at people because you kind of like said it yourself. You're like, I didn't go out and like, really kind of introduce myself or do anything, but like now you found your confidence and you're like, man, fuck all you.
It's like,
it ain't like no like hostile shit, but like, it's like, I'd really rather just like not.
Exactly that. I'd rather just not.
Yeah.
Because I always remembered how people treated me. So I never hold grudges. It's always love. But like you said, I definitely still understand what happened.
How do you not hold grudges? Like, that's a big thing. That's
a big thing. But just like with the lupus, you hold grudge and hate in your heart, it's gonna tell in your body. Like, if you see somebody, like, from this one on, think about this. You could be anywhere, grocery store, work, whatever. You with somebody, and they start gossiping, or they're not at a frequency you're at with that, talking wise. You can instantly tell, like, what they eat, you know what I'm saying, what they drive. Like, you can really tell that stuff because people hold grudges and hatred in their heart, and it's really messing up your body and your energy and your aura. So I've never really held grudges, you know what I'm saying? I've been upset. Of course, I'm human, but I never just like, man, fuck bro, you know what I'm saying? Just and that. And that's like, nah, I'm just like, okay, it may take a minute for me to forgive you, but, we could be cordial, but it's not going to be like no buddy-buddy type time.
Yeah.
Like, that's me understanding boundaries, instead of saying like, oh, you hurt me, but we're friends, so come on back in, Ren. Like, nah, like, it's cool. I forgive you, but the line's right here. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think like with your lupus, kind of, did you get diagnosed by a doctor? Or you just kind of like yourself,
Doctor.
the doctor diagnosed you?
They told me to, and quote, don't get used. They said get used to having this because it's not gonna go away. And I remember that specifically. Specifically, I can literally see me in the bed, right here. They come in saying that my mom's right here, and I'm just like, how can you tell me that you don't know how I got it? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Is it something that's curable?
To me, it is like
Like for
even
most
before
people.
I knew that, I feel like it was like. I feel like because around that time in 2018, beginning of 2019, autoimmune diseases were just really picking up, you know? So you have like sickle cell and stuff like that. Those autoimmune diseases where
Yep.
basically your body's fighting against itself.
My mom's got one.
For real?
Yeah, she's got this really rare one. It's called like myasthenia gravis.
I've never heard
Exactly.
of that.
It's so rare. It's so
Like,
rare.
what is it?
It's an autoimmune disease. She had like some sort of fucking like tumor in her that I don't know what the fuck it did,
Yeah.
but it fucked her up and she had to get it removed, and like she had ended up like dying on the operating table and they had to like resuscitate her. Like she went through a whole bunch of crazy shit.
That's different.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
different experience.
Yeah, but it's making me think a lot about like what you're saying, you know, with like
Cause
your
man,
emotions.
like, yeah, our emotions. Like, I strive to keep myself as happy as possible, whether I'm talking to somebody, I'm listening to something, I'm watching something. It's like me knowing vibrations and how it can affect me, via it be me or somebody else. I take that in consideration every single day, because, like, for example, this happens in a black household. So I'm gonna just put you on real quick. When the mom is upset, everybody in the room is upset.
Or she like got all the energy, like
All the
she's the
energy.
presence.
You know, happy wife, happy life, quote unquote.
Okay.
That shit is dead. If the mom is upset, she gonna come in and she not having a good day. Pop's probably not gonna try to talk to her, and the energy's gonna transfer through the house. Everybody's upset. They don't know why. We're all mad. We're all just going through phases of like, damn, I'm mad because I asked her a question, she yelled at me. So her energy just came to me. Now I'm upset. Now it's affecting me.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm in the room. I want to play Madden, but I'm pissed off now. So now I gotta go talk to somebody else, my friend or somebody. What's wrong with you, man? Such and such, such and such. It's certain sequences like that that I remember now. And it's like, nah, like, I gotta let that go. Let that emotion go. Because that can carry towards you, and then you can be doing that to your kids and kids. Like, it'll pass down.
Yeah,
And that's internally.
we always try to like, I feel like, you know, we try to kind of get away from some of the things that our parents had done to us. Because you have those moments where you think back and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
You know, that shit hurt. Like, and it really hurt me now. And like, then you try to blame them, and you can't really blame them because their parents probably did that shit to them too.
They didn't really know.
You know, so it's just a cycle. You become conscious of it, and you have to stop the cycle.
Yeah.
You know, before, what's that fucking quote? Like, or, you know, repeat the cycle and it'll continue tomorrow. And that shit. Do you think there was like one thing in your life that like kind of led you to get this like disease, like that you were holding on to, like a grudge or something specifically?
I feel like, so I'm a Virgo. I'm really more of like a feminine sign. Like that's what the Virgo sign is, more feminine than masculine. So me being youngest child, I was born a premature baby. Like my dad was telling me, I used to fit in the palm of his hands. I was so small. I was born earlier. So I had a strong connection with my mom, and me realizing that has allowed me to see certain traits that I had to break that I was carrying, like emotional traits. I'm like, okay, like something ain't right. Like, why am I acting like this in certain situations? Like, why am I in a relationship and I'm upset acting like the female? Like, this can't happen. You know what I'm saying? I got to break certain shit like that. So
give me like an example of like what you're talking about.
So I was in a relationship, and I'm realizing like I'm giving all my energy to you, setting dates, you know what I'm saying? Like doing all the fancy five shit, bringing the conversation, touchy feeling, but it wasn't really reciprocated. So I'm realizing like in a relationship as a man, I'm supposed to be the provider, but I'm also supposed to be a man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yep.
so I shouldn't be doing. It's okay to be lovey-dovey to your woman, but it's certain levels of that I'm not supposed to be doing because it's supposed to be male and female.
Mm-hmm.
So once I realized that, I'm like, okay, it's got to be something from within that I'm still carrying on that I haven't really let go. So I had to let go of certain emotions from my family that deal with like love, that deal with how I receive communication, because I used to just hear stuff that instantly make me sad or make me upset because how I was receiving it. So okay, why am I receiving like this? Oh shit, my mom was receiving it like this. Then I see her talk to my grandma. She was receiving it like that. So it's like it's always a train of how you receive things, how you say things, how you do things, how you talk, move, because those are we come from our parents. So with that, it's like I realized I had two choices: either continue that or break that. And during that time, I was like, I just started smoking weed, so I was really using that as a crutch, if you would say. Like if I was upset, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna go smoke some weed and go through that emotion instead of just going through it right then and there. That's when I feel like, okay, I'm becoming a man because I'm facing it head on. I'm not waiting till next week to.
When you stopped smoking weed, you started to feel like you were becoming a man, or when you were smoking weed?
Um, During the process of it, before I stopped for a while, like just hit the blunt one day, I'm like, looked at it, I'm like, am I really using this as a crutch? Like, how do I really feel? Like, when you ask yourself, when you talk to yourself and ask yourself that, those are the realest moments of your life. Because you have no choice but to advance with that question. Look inside and say, okay, am I using this as a crutch? Am I really communicating properly with who I'm supposed to be communicating? Am I receiving this as, like, am I receiving this as, what's the word? Like, is it good or bad? You know what I'm saying? Like, how am I receiving it? Like, are they really helping me? Are they trying to give me game? Are they trying to diminish me? Those are the things I had to really go through thought process wise, which allowed me to have conversations now much calmer, comprehending more, really seeing where people's intentions are and where they're coming from. I feel like once I started to really do that, I started to break the habit of old ways of thinking, communicating, and speaking that were diminishing my body. Because I wasn't really, I wasn't speaking for me. I was speaking for everybody else, if that makes sense.
I'm gonna be real with you. That part did not make sense
It
to
don't
me.
make sense?
That
Okay.
shit did not make sense to me. But everything else you were saying made
Yeah.
perfect sense. But just speaking for others,
So, I'll give you an example. A person with fear isn't going to speak up. If they do, it's going to be too late. So, in my case, me being the last child, I was living for everybody else. I was going to church. I was going to school. I was doing everything that they wanted me to do. I was dressing how they wanted me to dress, speaking how they wanted me to speak. And the minute I stepped out of that, I started to really see people's true colors. So when I say that, it's like you can learn to live for you and do you, but you had to step out of that, or you're gonna continue to live for everybody else and do what they want you to do. And I feel
okay,
like,
that makes a lot more
yeah,
sense.
you know what I'm saying. So I had to break it down a little bit
Yeah, for sure. I'm a bit
because
slow on the
no, it's cool.
uptake on that one.
Sometimes I'll talk and I'll be like, I'll talk, then my brain would catch up. But it's like,
Yeah.
I'll be honest, man. I haven't spoken to my. I talked to my mom maybe like 2 weeks ago, but I haven't seen any of them in probably a year and a half. So when I started my spiritual journey, I decided to, and it's everybody's different. You know what I'm saying? I decided to, okay, if I have to break these habits, I need to separate myself for some time. I love y'all. check in when I feel it's needed. You know what I'm saying? But coming around and just being around the energy that hasn't healed yet, it allowed me to take a step back and see everything for what it was. You know what I'm saying? My mom, she had a tumor in her stomach that was like 8 inches long. And I was giving her a game. I had to really, prepare herself internally to get rid of that. Wasn't really trying to listen. You know what I'm saying?
No, she ain't trying to hear that shit. Our parents are not trying to hear that. That's the last thing that our parents will do until like it's
Too late.
until it's
too late.
Until it's the 11th hour and
Yeah.
they're really fucked and they're like, okay, fine.
Yeah, I'll try it.
Yeah, like what else do I have to lose? But like they don't realize, like a lot of older people don't realize that we have a lot of knowledge to give to them. Even though we may not have anything to show for it yet.
Yeah.
I feel like life is just constantly trying to prove yourself to people. My parents were kind of the same way. When I had moved down here, when I was younger and I wanted to get into music, they were like, you're going to live in a box. You're not going to really just don't do this. Don't fucking do this. Go get a fucking job and, work. My dad works for Ford, so it's funny that you were talking about working at,
Yeah.
Kia. So I come from a similar situation. There was a lot of pressure on me to maybe just go get an industry job like that.
Safe route.
And yeah, safe route. But I saw that as like death. That's certain death. If you put me in a desk in an office job, it's not going to end well. And I can't do it. The last real job that I had was like a pizza delivery driver for Hungry Howie's.
For real? Hungry Howie's. Y'all had a Hungry Howie's up north?
Yeah, we got hella pizza, bro. I'll bring you up there sometime. We got the best pizza up in Michigan. I'm not gonna lie.
Say Liz.
But it transitioned to making music, and I've been doing that since I was 16. And you're into photography. So how did you get into that? And like on your journey, like what does that look like?
Man, so like I was saying earlier, when I came back from college, my dad basically gave me an ultimatum and said, hey, these are the ground rules. If you're going to stay on this roof at the time being, you got to get you a plan. So before I went to college, I had a little point and shoot snapshot camera. It was a Canon. All I did was literally take a picture. With no settings, just take the picture.
No ISO.
Nothing. You just had a flash and a power button. That's it. So in college, I was already really doing that. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't going to class. I was either hooping, going to the caf, or really just learning how to better my craft. So I would just do shoots around the campus with some friends, just do something, try something new. And when I got back, I'm on YouTube. I'm like, okay, if this is something that I love to do and I can progress at, I can see myself progressing at it, then I need to be studying this. So I literally walked in my living room. My mom and dad was there. I said, I'm going to be a photographer. They were like, what? I said, yeah. I said, I already got a camera. I'm writing ideas about what type of photography I'm going to do so I can at least give them a plan so they can get off my ass. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Came up with ideas to do that. And then my mom, I'll say this, my parents have always been on my side, but as an older generation, they, like you said, they want you to get a safe job and 401k and this
shit
and
don't
that.
exist no more.
That shit is gone.
As fuck.
Out of here. So my mom was like, okay, well, that's your decision. It's going to be a journey. My dad was like, you sure you want to do that? It's going to be this and that and this and that. I'm like, okay, I'm not listening to insecurities because I know I don't have those. I know that this journey is going to be long. So told him that. And then from that point on, that was beginning of 2019. That was that point. And I went back to the pawn shop where I got my camera from, and I got a better one. So it was a Canon, one of the Rebel series, one of the early series that you can really practice on and, get better.
Yeah, I got one of those too.
Yeah.
The T5.
They come clutch.
Yeah,
man. I've missed that camera sometimes, for real.
It's a nice camera.
Yeah, it's nice.
I still use it to do shoots and stuff, but I ain't doing no serious shit.
So I would literally, the neighborhood I was in, it was a lake behind the back the neighborhood shared. So me being sick at the time, I would go outside and I'm like, man, let me just use this camera, practice. I watch YouTube, for this setting, you this, and this. Cool. Go outside, try it on some plants. Next day, go outside, try it on my mom. Next day, link with some friends, try that. So each day I was doing certain things to better my craft. And I'm a fan of YouTube, so I literally sat. I had a great desk by my bed. I would put my laptop right there, have my camera, and I would just watch videos. I would learn my camera in and out, my settings. I would learn angles. I would learn how to edit and shit. I would really just learn how to like make this work for me. And once I did that, I started to do more stuff around the city that I was in my hometown. They would have like pop-ups here and there. Like one time at Columbus State, I went and got about 10 to 15 pictures that I had shot printed out, and I had made my logo, which was Newlife. It was at that time it was Newlife Productions. I'm sitting there and writing. I'm like, damn, like I'm 5, man. I gotta have something that's gonna pop. You know, make people want to attract to me my photography. So I'm writing down names, and then God gave me the word universe. I mean, not universe. Gave me New Life. I'm like, oh shit, that's 5. Wrote it out. Said it a couple times. I'm like, yeah, that's it. I said that's the one. So I made New Life Productions, and I sent it to my brother Donnell. He made the logo, and then from then I was like, shoot, I'm about to be on the ass with it. So I'm driving to Atlanta every other day, every other week at that time, just to network, go around the city, politic, show what I can do. Hey man, let's link up, let's go shoot. I don't want to charge, I just want to work, connect. Boom, I was doing that like every other week.
How would you get into doing something like that? Just not knowing anybody, and kind of just going off of like going in the city. Like, where would you start to go?
So I'm big into music, so I would listen to like a lot of Future at that time, Drake. I would literally be on the Instagram studying how they take their pictures, whether it was from flash to exposure into posture. I'm like, I want to recreate that in my version. So I would basically go on Twitter, go on Instagram, and whether I was following somebody or I seen them on search, I just hit them up and I say, hey, I'm starting photography. I want to work with you. Want to connect. I just want to try some different creative projects. Like I would literally sit on my porch and send emails and DMs and really tell myself they're gonna respond. They're gonna respond. So I'm realizing I've been manifesting it. I've been putting effort in. I've been putting the work in, which allowed me to be in these rooms and working with these great artists and entertainers, because that drive that I started from being sick has led me here. So even when I was coming up here and just to network, I would literally be like, okay, it ain't really much to do where I'm from besides bullshit. So I need to go somewhere where things are popping, people are outside, I can network, I show my face. And even then I had no confidence, but I'm still doing it because I got a camera, you know what I'm saying? I got a vision. And at this point, I gotta get out. So I gotta do something, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was really, now I can literally say now, like I'm grateful for that time because it allowed me to prepare myself for where I am now. Whether it's communication, planning, or just creating a vibe, you know what I'm saying? I really learned how to create a vibe with what I'm doing, you know, as an artist. So I feel like that was a huge transformation for me starting my photography.
I mean, it sounds like it's a little bit more than photography for you.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the medium in which you use to kind of,
Yeah.
like, you want to tell stories.
Yeah. That's what I love. But I didn't realize that went into like last year. You know what I'm saying? Cause
you were just taking pictures and just like, oh, this shit's dope. This shit looks hard. And then you really started to get deeper with it. And
yeah, like, people were telling me like, man, you telling stories, man. You doing this and that. And I was realizing that, like, I came to Atlanta in 2019, early 2019. I literally, the job I was at, they pulled us in the room. They're like, yeah, we're about to close in 2 weeks, like randomly.
Where were you at?
I was in Columbus at a job, NCR, and they made the cash registers for Walmart and Target, places like that. Yeah, I'm be real. I didn't do shit at that job. I was running the clock up. I was supposed to be working like 6 hours. I'm clocking in for 10.
Yeah.
I'm like, y'all gonna let me go? I'm finna run this checkup on your ass quick.
Yeah.
So I left that, and I told my aunt, I was like, shoot, I want to come up to Atlanta because I want to chase my dream. So she let me stay up there for a little bit, and
Who was this you stayed
my
with?
aunt.
Your aunt?
Hmm.
Okay.
So came up from like, oh, I'm about to be lit. I'm about to work with such and such. I'm about to go on tour. I'm about to do this. It didn't happen like that for at least a good 5 to 6 months. That's when I realized, okay, I got to put some groundwork in because nobody knows me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If I achieve to be at a certain level, then I now realize it's levels to get there. You're not just finna come to land and be up here with little baby and them. You know what I'm saying?
Ain't
Like,
it funny? Ain't it fucking funny? And
it's
then
hilarious.
it's a lot of times that you don't realize like that shit. Like my business partner, my mentor, he tells me all the time. He's like, "Don't come down here and get caught up." He's like,
Yeah.
"You'll get caught up in the city real quick."
Yeah, definitely.
He's like, "The motherfucker is taking a picture next to Lil Baby. Ain't making bread like that." And he's like, "I can prove it to you." You know what I mean? And he showed me, and I'm like, okay. So
Yeah.
this is what I thought it'd be. I thought I had the same fucking idea as you. I'm like, I'm gonna come down here, get fucking lit, go to all these parties and the clubs, and be turning up with rappers. Like this
Yeah.
shit's gonna be awesome, dude. And it turned out to be a different type of awesome. You know, it's not what you thought it was, but here's what it is, and it's like, okay, I really enjoy this kind of work and this groove that I'm in.
It definitely it turns out better for you because like my first experience in the industry, I was working with an artist. His name is True Story G. He's with the Rare Sound label, K Camp's label.
Okay.
So those were the first.
Shout out K Camp.
Shout out K Camp. He was one of the first individuals that I was really presented to. My homegirl Kanika, she was at an A&R at the time over there at the studio. She said, "Yeah, pull up, be looking for some photographers." And that was a huge transition for me because I'm like, okay, I'm going from shooting with my homeboys to being inside the studio every day with an artist that the world knows.
It's like put on your fucking suit and your
Put
big
it
boy
on.
pants because that shit just
What?
it happened. Like you were preparing for it, but you weren't ready for it. You know.
Exactly. It was literally that. Like, I was working with them for a good year and for free. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you have to. You got to pay your dues.
You gotta pay the dues, but I'm grateful for that because I put in time to elevate my craft. It allowed me to meet other connections that made me speak. You know what I'm saying? It allowed me to just be in different rooms that I didn't really know existed. So I'm like, damn, okay, like at first I was like, man, I've been doing this for a year. Like, what's next?
Yeah, something's got to give.
Something's got to give.
You get to that point. I know what you're talking about, man, because I
Yeah.
got there and then something gave, and that's why I'm down here.
Yeah.
You keep working and working, and you hit a lull. There's a lot of people give up on that lull. They're like, fuck it, I'll just go get a real job, and I need some fucking bread. Like,
Yeah.
shit is tough. Shit gets real tough, and that's the honest truth of it. Like,
It gets real tough. And at that time, after the year mark was there, you know, you just feel like I gotta make some shit. I gotta change something. Something's gotta move.
yeah.
So at that time, I was about to go to LA, and my one of my brother's girlfriends at the time, she's connected with people around Post Malone's group. So we was out there in Vegas. Oh, he's out there in LA.
She's connected with like somebody around Post. Okay.
So with her, she's friends with Post Malone's head security guard, and I got to meet him too. He's pretty cool, but she was really like putting effort in for me to work with them. So I'm like, shit, I'm finna go to LA. Like, forget Atlanta. I done done what I need to do in Atlanta. I got relationships, got connections. I'm about to go to the next level. It didn't work out, but that let me know the level of craft that I'm at. My confidence level is elevated, so it's like, okay, I can really be a full-time photographer. They let me know, like, okay, if I'm starting here and I can end up here, I can continue this in different ways, different people, different incomes, whatever it may be. I can still continue this. So once I knew that, I got some fire under my ass. Like I was doing different shoots every day with different artists. Like even in this photo book I showed you, the first one, a lot of that was during that time. So I was hitting events. Me and my brother Juwan, he's an international barber, celebrity barber. We was teaming up. We was like, okay, you're gonna do what you do, I'm gonna do what I do. We're gonna bring it together.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, because you got the in with the photography, so you're like, just come along and like do a cut. You know?
yeah. So we had discussed that prior, and then we started putting stuff together so we can both benefit off that, and it took off. So we was just hitting different events. I was okay. Like I started seeing the rhythm of it. People hit me up to come do BTS and video shoots, and I'm elevating it higher and higher, quick. So I'm like, oh shit, like this is a whole different type of time than what it was the first year. And I was at the same studio every day, just shooting, working, smoking, staying up till 3 a.m.,
Editing and stuff on your computer.
editing, sleeping, even like it's like okay, like I start to see the different type of levels that I was entering to. And once I start to get to a point where my work is picking up, my relationships is picking up, I'm not getting paid every time, but I'm connecting. And that's when I realized, okay, a relationship goes so much farther than just getting bread. If I could say, hey, Brennan, bro, I only got like $200 and know your fee is $500, but Usher wouldn't really work with you. You be like, shit, forget the money. I'm about to go do what I do so I can make my play.
Yeah.
So I was doing that a lot, like getting $50 here, $100 there, and still going to go shoot and then showing them intentionally, like, I'm supposed to be here. Like, I do that a lot through my work. Like, money is just energy to me. And once I realized that and put it into my crafts, I was like, okay, I'm about to really level up myself through my relationships, my connections. So I was doing that, still doing it, but it started doing that probably 2020 until now. So it's just been a journey with that. Just steady growing, elevating, and just looking for ways to serve, man. Like, that's what working for free showed me, like, how can I serve? How can I be a better person in my position with what I do to help somebody's dream come true? Like, because if I have the power to help somebody's dream come true or change their life through a lens, it's like that's going to always become reciprocated back to me, whether I'm looking for it or not, because my intentions out there to help somebody.
Yeah,
know
you
what
got
I'm
to
saying?
give in order to receive.
So, but that's what a lot of people miss in the industry, because they just want to take pictures of Uzi Vert and be on Vogue and GQ and shit.
That's
It's
like let me get next to this motherfucker. Let me take
Yeah.
a picture. Like, okay, what are you doing here? You're not getting paid. Like,
what's the mission? You know what I'm saying?
And that's an interesting point that you brought up unintentionally. It was like you're gonna go and do something, and somebody may not have enough money to pay you to do it, but they'll go in that same music video or that song, and they'll rap about the money and the bitches and the hoes and just flaunt it, flex it. So that a lot of this stuff in the industry is really not what you think it is.
Mm-mm. It's for show. Like I was, just like you said, I'd be sitting here with my camera. I'm on set, hungry, starving, and you got 10 racks in your lap, but ain't offering me to pay me nothing. I'm not looking for it, but it's like, all right, bruv, like, if I'm working with you, I'm helping you get content. It's like, shoot, put me on a payroll or something, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you pay for my food, my Uber or something. It's like, I always thought about it like that. It's like, now I'm not being greedy or chasing the bread, but it's like, shoot, if we're collabing on services, make it make sense. So I'll tell a lot of photographers too, like, make sure you're getting compensated for your time one way or another, because people will take advantage of you just because you're a great person and you have great work. Like, people don't care. They just want to get what they can get out of it, especially in the industry. We all know that just because of how it's set up. So it's like, shoot, I stopped doing that and started standing on what I stand on, and they were starting to really feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like, not on the animosity type level, but like, oh, dang, Newlife, we know Newlife going to charge this, or he going to require this to come, and that separate a lot of people who were really fucking with me who weren't. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're like, okay, if we want Newlife to come shoot, we know he has great work, energy is great, let's bring him to the team, rather than, he want how much? Nah, we can get buddy over there to do it for free. And you do it for free, but it's not always gonna be the best type of work that you're gonna receive.
Yeah.
So it's just a lot of factors that people don't really think about, that I've had the choice to that I've had the that I've had no choice, but to go to realize that. So in some cases, I always feel like I'm the example of certain things to show people the real way that you need to be doing it. You know what I'm saying?
I think that I also agree with that
Mm-hmm.
because I watch a lot of people who want to get into this industry kind of chase their tail.
Mm-hmm.
And you look and you see your peers are like wanting to get into photography or videography, and their shit is just not hitting. They're not doing their editing right. They're not color grading. They're not doing anything
Right.
the right way. And I think just knowing how to move is like the most valuable thing in this industry. Knowing how to move and when not to move and when to play your position, and because like you said, there's levels to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I agree.
that shit is fucking. That's crazy. And like, were you still unhealthy? Would you say like when you entered photography?
Oh yeah.
Was that photography was just a part of your healing journey?
Yeah, like even now I think about like if I never started photography, would I still be sick? Would I still be in that same type of lifestyle living? Would I not be who I am today? And photography has definitely saved my life because of, I always tell people like it's a sequence. Being sick led me to photography. Photography led to changing my life. So I see it as hand in hand. You know, I never really understood, like I said, how I was going to get to these certain levels. But as I go through those phases, I see how I got here. And it's definitely like, it's crazy to think about sometimes. Like, okay, like, I always knew it could be a way for people to live their life outside of that 9 to 5. Like, we're literally in a world where we watch TV. People are actors. People are in the fucking Olympics. Like, people are designing clothes. Those are things that they're doing what they love to do, and they're getting paid for that. So I always understood I can be where they are with what I want to do. So me always knowing that has led me to say, okay, if photography is going to be that way, then I need to put all into that, because this can be a way out. It can lead to other incomes. It could lead to me, traveling the world, whatever it may be. It can really help save my life. So once I understood that, it's like, okay, shoot, I'm not taking nothing for granted. I'm going to keep continuing to elevate my mind, better my craft, find ways to give back. So I feel like, yeah, it definitely has saved my life, because, like, what else would I be doing? Like, I don't really see myself doing anything else besides what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gifted at it. I shoot a lot of film photography, which is, for people who don't know, film photography is what they started off with back in the day. So that's the OG.
So you got to get your shit developed, like take it to a red room and
all that.
Do you have a red room?
No, I don't. I usually go to different companies and they develop it. I know how to do the process, but I don't have all the supplies yet. It's very rigorous, I'll tell you that. It's step by step.
I watched like a Goosebumps episode about the camera that kills. It's like a camera that like kills people if you take a picture with it, and I saw like you dip it in like the acid or whatever the fuck it is. The solution.
You gotta keep that camera as that.
Yeah, that was the whole point of the episode. But yeah, I mean, fuck, dude.
I was like, if I'm a really be the go-to guy in the world with this, I need to know the fundamentals, where it all started. So that's when I started learning film photography. I started understanding the feeling of photography. Like, we'll shoot film one day. I'm gonna show you. I'll say that.
All right, bet. Yeah. There's like a lot of kids who are, maybe about 10 years younger than you, coming straight out of high school. Like, parents are pressuring them to go to college and do the traditional thing, and because their parents are scared. What would you say to that kid who kind of wants to just go for it? Give them like honest, genuine advice. Like, yeah, I know the motivational stuff is great and all, but sprinkle that in there with some like real fucking shit. Like, this shit's gonna be like hard.
It's gonna be hard, but literally, if you sit down, write down what you want to do, how you're gonna do it, and make a solid plan, and stick to the plan, I feel like that's where people doze off. If you don't stick to your plan and trust it, then it's not going to work. So even if you come out of high school and you want to own 16 trucking businesses that deliver food or whatever to people all around the world, then you need to have a solid plan how you can do that. Make a plan on how you can have different incomes to supply for that, different relationships, whatever it may be. Once you make a plan, it allows those thoughts from out your mind to be on paper and to be in the physical. So once they're in the physical, you can start to manifest those the right way and work towards that. And I feel like a lot of times, especially coming out of high school, we're just chosen to be military or work or whatever it may be. But it's like you can really be an entrepreneur, but just understand it comes with times where you're not going to know what to do. You're not going to have the money to do it. You might not have even the mindset to do it. But if you hold on to why you started, then you really can get there quicker than you think. You know what I'm saying? It always seems so far until you start it, until you're really in it, and you start to see your progress. So if you make a plan and stick to it and trust yourself and trust whoever your creator is that put that thought into you to begin with, you're going to make it. Just don't worry about the time. I feel like that's key. When you stop worrying about the time, how long it takes, the outcome, then you really start to see like, oh shit, I made it here quicker than I thought I would. I'm actually here.
It's a kind of a balance of you don't want to get caught in the future because that creates a lot of anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to look to the future and keep those goals that you wrote down and always have that at the back of your mind. I'm going to do this one day.
Mm-hmm.
But just like, oh, I'm going to do this one day. It's going to take this fucking long?
Yeah.
Like, shit.
Speak to yourself too. Like, that's key. You know what I'm saying? Give yourself those positive affirmations on where you want to go, where you see yourself, what you want to do. I feel like that's very important because when you're starting off, like we said, it seems so far away because you're worried about the future and you're still focused on your present. But when you break it down and say, you know what, I'm not going to think about that. I'm going to fill myself up with positivity because it's obviously a reason why I have these ideas. So let me figure out ways I can bring those to the physical. So I tell myself every day, I'm a multimillionaire. I shoot all around the world. I travel for what I do. I get paid for being me. Like, those are affirmations I say to myself towards what I want to do because that's very important.
Yeah.
I'm putting that out there. So, like, for example, like I told you, I wrote down, I want to start doing more podcasts to share my journey because they can help somebody else. Shit, we in this bit, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not worried about when it's going to come, who's going to come through. I just keep living in the present. I keep my mind focused on my goals. I keep my mind focused on my positive energy, and it manifests. And a lot of times, especially when we're young, you know what I'm saying, at high school, I didn't have this mentality at all.
And that's when you were in like the point of fear.
Mm-hmm.
You had a lot of fear in just living day to day and just being scared of life itself.
Just being scared. Like,
you can't eliminate fear, but I think there's some ways you can overcome it.
Mm-hmm. You could definitely silence it for sure. Like, I'll be real.
Don't you think it gets louder when you try to squash it? Because I don't think you're thinking of silence in the way that I'm thinking of silence. Because
What you think about it?
If I'm scared of something and I'm like, don't be scared.
Mm-hmm.
Just say that.
Yeah.
It's like, motherfucker, you're going to be scared. And you're really going to be scared. But I kind of learned to take a counterintuitive approach to this.
Mm-hmm.
I read this book called Dare about anxiety. And it's just about accepting the anxiety and letting it kind of flow through you and just kind of telling yourself if you're, going to have a panic attack or something.
Yeah.
Do your worst. Egg it on. Just kind of, and it tricks your brain because there's no real fear there.
Mm-hmm.
So that was an interesting kind of perspective that I took. But yeah, I think we're on two different.
I mean, I definitely see where that comes from. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say I don't have any fear because I know it's different levels of fear. It could be fear of heights or fear of talking. You know what I'm saying?
Fear of hoes.
Fear of hoes. You know what I'm saying? Everybody fears a bad hoe. You know what I'm saying? But, like, I don't like roller coasters. I'm scared of roller coasters. I don't like heights unless I'm on a plane. So it's like, that's a fear for me.
Yeah.
But it's like,
if you want to travel and be the person that you are, a celebrity photographer, then you
I gotta let that fear go. I
plane.
gotta say, fuck it. I'm gonna step on this mug and do what it do.
I think that really is kind of like silencing.
Yeah.
Because I'm still scared. I'm scared as fuck, but I'm gonna get on this plane because I know that it's most likely gonna be safe.
Yeah.
Most likely. And there's an outcome. You're gonna go take cool pictures with whoever you want and tell a story, a certain kind of narrative that you want to paint.
It's all the mindset though, like you said. Like, if you think about it, why am I fearful? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I if I choose to do something, but fear is stopping me, and I haven't done it yet, then why am I fearful? You see what I'm saying? Like, if I'm about to go bungee jumping or jump out of airplane, why am I fearful? I haven't even tried it yet. Like, this is something new. I should be excited. So what if you channel that fear into excitement or into another different emotion? Because it's really all the mindset telling you, oh shit, we ain't done this yet. Get scared, get fearful. But it's like, shoot, step into that fear. Like,
leaning into the fear.
Lean into it. So
yeah.
I do that all the time. Like,
I bet you were scared when you got the opportunity to work with your first like big person.
Oh yeah.
You were shitting bricks,
shaking like a mug,
get in the studio with the camera. No, but for real, it's huge, and it's still great that you overcame that fear and you went in that studio and you kind of just did that and made all those connections. But I think that's a lot of people like would be fucking scared if you were handed your dreams in your face right now. You would not know what the fuck to do with it. And I'm speaking for me right now. I'm not speaking for you, but if I was handed everything that I've ever put on my vision board, I'd probably shit a brick because I'm not ready for it. And I think a lot of people think they're not ready.
But why though? What's that? Where does that thought come from? That's my thing, because I've been in a situation where it's like I'm putting the work in to be ready, but it's like, what makes me not ready?
I think a lot of people and me, I look at my past and I'm like, this is how it went down in the past. So I don't know if it could happen like that in the future. Like, I don't know if something new could come along in the future because my past is so strong and I reaffirm that every day. And I repeat those cycles.
Yeah.
And, you know, stuff like that.
That's definitely understandable. I feel like I feel like it all comes down to the intention. You know, like, if you wake up every day, do what you do, and your intentions are always to strive for better and be better, and you fuck around and get a call from LL Cool J, he wants to work with you, he can change your life, and you're just so in shock. It's like,
that's the funniest example I've heard.
He's the first person that came to my head. I don't know why, but it's like you're so in shock. Like, I'll give you an example. When Drake and Future dropped that song "Life Is Good," me and my brother Jawan, they had a pop-up shop, like a pop-up meet and greet on Fulton Industrial. Went over there, and I had a frame that I shot of Future. It was a 16 by 24, and taking pictures. He's meeting everybody outside. Somebody was like, "Hey, Future, let me chop it up with you about some business." He said, "Nah, I got time to chop it up. Keep it moving." Jawan, loud as freak. "Hey, Future, my brother got a picture I want to show you." It get dead quiet. Everybody turns around like looking at me. You know, at SpongeBob, they just turn around and look at you.
Yep.
It was just like that. It was dead quiet. And I'm taking a picture. He's like, "Oh, that's hard." He's holding a picture up behind me. And then he's like, "We'll give it to him." So I'm walking. I'm shaking. I'm like, am I really prepared for this? You know what I'm saying? Like, is this really happening in my mind? So I go to him, dap him up, like the picture. He's like, "Man, it's hard, man. So I appreciate you." I said, "Let me get a picture." He's like, "Hell yeah." So in that moment, I'm like, okay, I don't know. In my mind, I'm out of my body. I'm just going through whatever's happening, because I realized at that moment, like, everything I done led to moments like that. So in reality, I'm really ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like I get there and it's like, oh shit, like, I don't know what to do. I had nothing to present. I can't really describe who I am. It's like, nah, like that was the moment that I prepared for. And there's been other moments like that that let me know, like, okay, we're always prepared. Like you meet somebody for what you do, you're always prepared because you've been doing it. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you're gonna get there and your mind goes blank. You're like, fuck, I don't know what to do. You know, like I got you. I'm here for a reason. I'm gonna do what I do.
Yeah, your brother got you on that one.
Yeah.
He got you for sure. Because
He
you were
used
like,
to-
I want to talk some business. He's like, nah. And then your brother was like, he basically like kicked you out the nest and
Yeah.
was like, got this picture right here, you know?
Man, he's done that since I've met him, and he's really been the only person in my life that has pushed me like that. So I be grateful for people like that in my life because he helped me understand what confidence really was, just seeing it through him. You know, whether that was a handshake with another man or talk to a female or just expressing. I'm a detailed person, so that stuff I look to really, you know, receive for myself in my way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's been different, bro. I've been around people in the industry and have been like, how the fuck did I even get here? Like,
Do you have another moment like that? Like a future moment?
yeah, I worked with Eric Bellinger.
Mm-hmm.
So one of his managers is Miles Chewy's manager. He was at the show too. Miles Chewy, he's in BMF. He plays B Mickey. He's been in a few other things too, Stranger Things.
He was at the show chilling, or he was up on stage?
He was back then chilling.
Okay.
But I got an opportunity to work with Eric Bellinger. He was here for a week. He has some studio sessions where he's meeting producers, engineers, DJs, you know, basically getting acquainted with new people in the industry. And I was in a session with him. Very genuine guy, great energy, very talented. We're working, and we're going to the next session. He has a rehearsal for a Tiny Desk with Usher, and I didn't figure it out till I got there. So I went on my lift. His manager was like, "Yo, just ride with Eric." Eric's like, "Yeah, come on, we do some content." I'm like, where we going? His manager pulled aside. He's like, "Yo, about to go to a rehearsal for Tiny Desk with Usher and Vito. Need you get some great content." I'm like, "Whoa, who?" He's like, "Usher and Vito." I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like, I'm literally sleeping on my homeboy's couch at the time during all this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have any bread at the moment. I'm going with the flow. So I did that. I'm in the back seat. We're on the way to the studio. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like, I'm working with Eric Bellinger, and I'm also about to go meet Usher for the first time. I'm about to go see the whole ambiance. So we got there. They're in the studio with the mirrors, the big room with the drums and the saxophones, and they're going crazy. So I'm realizing this is another day of leveling up. Like, when I think about leveling up, those are times I'm like, okay, I'm walking through a whole different door right now.
Yeah, you had to keep it cool though. You
Had to keep it cool, man. Oh my god,
This
bro.
motherfucker Usher. Nah, like that's how you know though that you're in the right position at the right time, because in your head you're like, holy shit,
Yeah.
look who I'm with. But you keep it cool and you keep it business minded, because at the end of the day they're just people like me and you who worked really hard to get to where they're at. And you know, we're gonna get there too one day. That's the goal.
Yeah.
But it's definitely an experience for sure.
And I love experiences because that keeps me going. Like, that experience allowed me to go get prepared for the next one, and the next one, and the next one. So it's like I can go in these rooms now and just be more confident and not be all like, you know, of course I'm a fan, but it's not like, it wasn't how it was where I'm recording. I'm like, oh snap, like just a whole different.
Yeah, you're in work mode. You're in work mode. Like, you're gonna create some great. There's an end goal.
Yeah.
But just being in the rooms, kind of, you know, like the Usher and the Eric Bellinger, like you're just in there, and as you're taking pictures and you're interacting with them, you're also still like younger, and you're like a fly on the wall, just soaking up game. You're like, I'm gonna move to the next level. I'm gonna watch this and just kind of be in awe of that. And
can I be honest with you though?
Yeah.
That's the best position to be in.
Yeah.
We know that though, because that allows you to be, in my mind, it allows you to be so much closer to those people than just someone that you know in the room. Because if you can sit there and observe and suck up game and connect, you're setting yourself apart from everybody else, which it typically helped you out for what you do. You
Yeah,
know what
for
I'm
sure.
saying? It gave you a different perspective of how you want to go through your route. So I felt with that for sure.
You like, and not even just looking to get like, another thing is like, I was talking to this dude when we were in the dressing room and we were just smoking, and we just started talking about his clothes. He's like, "Oh, I got this cool sweater, like it's made by Cash App or whatever." Cash App, like the fucking,
Oh shit, that's fine.
this shit was fire as fuck. And we just got to talking, and the question comes up, what do you do? And I'm like, "Oh, I do this, all this like media production stuff." And I'm like, "What do you do?" He's like, "Oh, I'm Baby's manager." I'm like, "Oh, like for sure, nice to meet you, man." Keep it moving, but like not looking to like be like, "Oh, I'm this person.
Yeah.
I need to like get your contact." Like just
I see what you're saying.
just develop genuine relationships and
Yeah.
friendships with people.
Like the first introduction.
Yeah,
Yeah, because next time they see you, they'll automatically know who you are, and that's a plus.
yeah,
That's a plus.
yeah.
I
I'm not ever up in anybody's face about
Nah.
nothing. Like just it's always all good vibes.
That's something I learned too though, because I was just so excited to really just get myself out there and just be the main guy. So I was doing that for a while, just like, oh, I do such and such and such. I realized like I'm talking so much about what I do, they're probably not even listening. So let me just introduce myself, who I am, tell them a little bit, and then let the rest do it.
Yeah, let them come and kind of ask you and
Yeah.
find out, because right off rip, if you're like, I do this, like I've heard it a million times. There's a million, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people are more interested in people who are kind of like not completely mysterious, but
Well,
have that.
secluded.
Yeah. Because in this industry, it's always the ones who are like up in everybody's face that are like usually broke
Yeah.
and not doing shit. But the one in the room who's quiet and observing everything, they're soaking up game. They're, kind of just being a student. And that's what you always have to be, as a student.
Yeah. You always got to be a student. That's never gonna stop.
Shit,
ever.
man. This was good.
Appreciate it, man.
This was good. This was the first episode
first episode, man,
ever.
ever.
It's been real, bro.
If y'all want to type in Brendan, man, don't hesitate. Great guy, man.
And shout yourself out. Where can we find you on social?
Find me on Instagram at newlife.prodnewlife.prod. Check me out. I got stuff on music, fashion, health. I got everything on it you need. So
One-stop shop.
one-stop shop.
You don't need to go anywhere else.
Nope. And follow back, you know what I'm saying? So if you follow me, it's not follow back. That's all I gotta say.
The love is reciprocated.
Love is reciprocated.
That's what he said. I appreciate you, man, for coming on and doing
Appreciate
this.
you, for
Coming
sure.
out here. This shit was real.
I appreciate you, man, for allowing me to speak. That means a lot.
Yeah, your story was an interesting one.
Appreciate you, man.
Well,
Interesting guy.
catch us next week on the next episode of the show. I'm going to do my own outro. I'm going to make like a professional one. Kind of just,
Yeah.
it's going to be on YouTube and shit. I'm not going to do it right now. But I'm going to edit this and all that stuff.